What's up guys, in today's video we're going to be covering the process I use to make logos, specifically for the content creator and streamer, Mallow Man. Let's check it out. So why should you guys listen to me? Well, let's do a quick credentials check, just give you the broad overview. I've been a designer and illustrator for over a decade, focusing on branding and product design. In that time, I have worked for such clients as Nike, Mattel, Nickelodeon, Universal Studios, a bunch of awesome clients, and I also have worked with a bunch of awesome people, specifically content creators in the gaming industry through my current job as senior designer at VBI. Now, I don't want to make it seem like I'm bragging or anything, so I'm going to stop the name dropping right there. The point is, I would like to think that I know what I'm talking about, and I would like to share with you guys how I go about creating a logo from scratch. All right, let's do a quick little dive into who the client is and what we're going to be doing for them. So, this is Sean, aka the Mallow Man, who is a content creator and streamer over on Twitch and YouTube. As you can see, he does have existing branding already, which we are going to take under consideration when we go through this process. Sean is a fellow creative and writer and knows the importance of a mood board, so he went ahead and did it for us already, which is highly unusual. Usually it's up to the designer to provide the client with a mood board or several mood boards, giving them a visual representation of existing design inspiration of where they think the design should go. As you can see, he provided us not only examples of what he thinks his new updated mascot logo should look like style-wise, but also some typography examples, so absolutely fantastic. Let's get to sketching. Now, the sketch phase is the most important part of the whole logo process because it is where you have the most creative freedom. This is where you can sketch and do crazy ideas and bounce them off the client and see if he likes them and not have to worry about spending a ton of time. Now, we were referencing the existing logo again. It was a marshmallow. It did have a mustache. I felt like that was an excellent starting point, especially given his name, but it needed a little bit more. So I really wanted to stylize this marshmallow, give it more of a personality, and try and really relate it more to Sean as a person. Now, one of the things you may have remembered from his photo is his beard. I asked him specifically about it as I thought it would be an interesting element to include in the logo and to tie further into him, and he hasn't shaved in over a decade. So I felt like that was a pretty safe anchor point to add to his brand. And as you can see, I played around with a bunch of different ideas, some a little more successful than others. Ultimately, we ended up with these four concepts. I presented all four of these options to him, and he selected the bottom left one, which, to be fair, was my personal favorite as well. Always nice when the client picks the one you like best, right? So the next step was to take it into Adobe Illustrator and vector the shit out of it. Thankfully, this was a fairly simple logo, and most of it could be mirrored, so I just set about doing that. Now, I'm not going to get into the nitty-gritty of how I made this logo in Illustrator, but if you do want to ever watch and see how I work in the programs that I use, I do stream on Twitch. In fact, this whole logo was created live. And with a bit of polishing, we sent it off to the client for approval, and we got no changes. That never happens. I don't even know how many times I can count on my hands where there's been no changes. But it did. On to type. I've had a lot of people ask me how I choose type for a logo, and the answer is it's laborious. Very rarely do I default to one of my few favorite fonts. Instead, I have this way of exploring multiple options before settling on a final direction. Now, the software I'm using in this example is FontBase. It's a very clean, free font program for Windows, and honestly, it's my favorite. After I've selected a series of font options, I grab all of them, duplicate them, move them over, and outline all fonts. This way, I know what font goes with what font name if I ever have to reference back in the file. I then take a closer look at what fonts I think are working and start to pair them up with the logo directly, making tweaks and edits to make that font as customized to the brand as possible. Now, I'm not saying create an entire custom font specifically for your client, but if you can take an existing font and tweak it in a way that is totally unique to that client, well, that's just a big bonus. And with a few finishing touches in grayscale, I'm ready to present it and then on to color if approved. Some of you may be wondering why I'm only showing grayscale options here with the font and not giving color options yet. Well, I found that providing more than one type of choice for the client can get confusing. I like to focus each round on a specific thing. Round 1 was the direction for the mascot. Round 2 was the more finalized, polished version of that mascot, including different eyes. Round 3 is pairing it with a typeface, and round 4 is color. So with the final type direction selected by the client, we move on to the color. Now, first off, I wanted to pull some of his existing brand colors and see if I could make them work with the new logo. This included some very hot pink, light blue, very what's the vaporwave, I guess would be the term. And I just wanted to see if it could work. And I was actually kind of surprised. The next option, I pulled some warmer colors. I know that in general, marshmallows tend to trend towards cooler colors like blue, but this really made it feel like he was on fire. And in the last moment before sending over the client, I decided to include an option with the blue and purple gradient. There was really no deep reasoning behind it other than I thought it looked cool, but sometimes that's all you really need. And of course, the last minute option is the one that ends up getting selected. And here we go, the final logo. I can say that I am really happy with this mark. To see where we started and where we ended, I think it's a great improvement for the client. I hope he gets a lot of use out of it for many years to come. And thank all of you guys for hanging out. Hopefully you had fun watching this. Hopefully you learned something. Again, I do stream design on Twitch if you ever want to come in and ask any questions. We usually start off the stream with several hours of design and then transition over to games. Thank you all for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Take care.